Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. I greet you in the words of a BB Fahodier. Today is Monday, May 30th, 2022, and it's 5:40 p.m. And I titled this Talking to Sports Heads and Whatnot. And the reason I titled this was because I was on a podcast, a YouTube channel that I relatively like. I like listening to this YouTube channel, and it's called Dreamers Pro. And the guy on there, he does pretty much a good job of telling sports. So I try to get away from telling people just to stay in their lane. Um, but sometimes that's what people should do. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I try to stay away from telling people, especially my own people, things like that. And this has nothing to do with the brother that made the content. Even though um his content was a little just opinionated. And that's what you do when you have your own platform. You give your opinion. People come on to hear your opinion. And remember, I made a video previously about uh, race first versus athlete first. And so the brother on the channel decided to speak on speak on Shannon Sharp's opinion on Bronny James. And it's hard talking to your people that don't study. You get what I'm saying? It's hard. That's why I always say that the thing of empty wagons make a lot of noise. And in his opinion, he's going hard. And this is why we say this is why we are behind in ways as a black culture, because we say things like mind your business. What business is it of yours? Where do we get off telling people how to deal with their children? X, Y, and Z. Two things you don't tell people this, and how to raise their children. And there's a book it's called Kindezi, The Congo Art of Babysitting. And it talks about, and see, one thing about my channel, because and I'm gonna get more into his followers that were commenting more so than him. But one thing about my channel, I try to provide as much proof. I try to provide as much evidence, resources, books that you can go on. So I'm not just giving you my opinion. But one thing that we learn in African culture is how connected you are to one another. Our power is in our connectedness. And so, that's one thing. And also how child-oriented we are. So this is for the people on that channel that kept asking me, certain questions. And I'm not going to go on somebody else's platform and take it over, especially when it's a sports. It's not a political, politics, spiritual, cultural view podcast. It's a sports. It talks about sports. It doesn't talk about serious matters of the world. It talks about LeBron James. It's predominantly talking about LeBron James. Okay, so in this, we are taught how we are a tight-knit community. That's just like the old saying a lot of people will say all the time. Well, back in the day, if you cut up, my neighbor would whoop you, and then they'll tell your parents when you got home. They would get you, and then whoever else. You know why they said that? Because we were connected as a people. They didn't mind their business. They knew that that child was that child. And because we have no cultural cohesion, I even had a person to ask me, I'll read some of the comments because there were a lot of them. They're still coming in. And some of the comments, I wouldn't know if the people are black and white Okay, this one says, and what's the point in keeping your bloodline strong? This is the question they start off. They said, we're all human at the end of the day. And again, remember I was talking, since we're going to talk sports or sports entertainment. Remember the last podcast I talked about WWE, and I talked about Roman Reigns and Rikishi's son. They had a group that they called the Bloodline, where they show pride in their bloodline of being Samoan. And if you're not in that bloodline, when we talk about the elites, when we talk about the Rockefellers, when we talk about the Rothschilds, the Astors, the Collins, whoever these elite family are, they are heavy on their bloodline. So, and the point to that person is that it keeps your bloodline, it keeps your lineage strong. So therefore, anything outside that weakens your lineage. That's just, and I never compare us to dogs, but I just want us to understand how, even on an animal level, we won't violate it. If somebody is breeding pit bulls, they'll say, no, I'm not going to breed that pit bull with a Doberman because this mess up, you can't get a purple ribbon. If they're pit bulls, they're not pure. They're mutts. So even in the animal kingdom, we understand that if we're going to breed our dogs properly, we're not even going to let them breed with other dogs outside of that. And like I said, that's not to compare us to dogs, but we just understand, people will understand that more so than they will. So the question that I really asked was, like I asked it on here, I said, it's mighty funny that Kyrie Irving was killed for his just wanting to stand up for his not putting that vaccine in his body. And of course, the audience, they had all these things saying, well, this shows you how people are just brainwashed into sports. Sports is their only thing. This is why we're so able to dominate. Because you have a channel like this, and I'm not knocking that brother's channel. Hey, you build your stuff up, you build it up. But it just shows to the seriousness of what we look for. We'd rather argue about who's the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, than to really understand what's happening to us, why race soldiers, aka police officers, can murder us whenever they feel like it. So with me only saying something to the nature of, and I will, and the amount of responses you get just for this comment you make, and people make their own balloon or blanket statements. I say, so let me get this right. Kyrie was killed, labeled selfish for not taking the jab. Totally his right, like Bronny. But somehow everyone Bronny, but how is everyone so comfortable with jumping on him and judging him? I said, and I love your podcast, bro. But if you don't understand why it's important to keep your bloodline strong, stick to sports, G. And from that, you have, and I could tell some of them are young, that you have one saying, oh, you're so woke to your sleep. I ain't said nothing about this. I'm just saying keeping your bloodline strong. And these are us that saying, oh, well, this, that, and that. I feel sorry for you. I don't care nothing about, keep your little sorry feelings. I don't need your little sorry feelings. Because again, we're so comfortable. This is how you can put it in our face. You have a white terrorist, Peyton Gendron, and I guarantee you ask anybody, most of those in those comments, who is Peyton Gendron, and they don't know. But ask them who LeBron James is, they know. Because it's more marketable to keep the black ones just entertaining. We don't want to hear nothing outside of that. We say, let people do what they want. We don't have opinions on anything. But yet everybody made such an opinion on Kyrie Irving. Him and his millions of dollars. He get paid millions of dollars because all they are is parrots mocking what they've heard. Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith. All people do is parrot what they hear them say. He get paid millions of dollars. He need to be a team player. Now, one person really understands those adverse effects in that jail. But just shut up and take it. But the person that created the jab wouldn't even take it themselves. But shut up and take it. Kyrie tripping. This is about winning a championship because that's all we care about is winning this make-believe championship so we can have more arguments on who is the greatest. The greatest what? Entertainer? Basketball player? I wonder why and we get back to this. I wonder why they don't do this in the white community. Larry Bird versus Jerry West. Because they own the league. They are the commissioners. They are the logo. They don't have time to sit now. They feel that they are superior. They don't have time. They leave that to us and other sports heads that argue why they feel another man is the greatest to put a dadgone ball in the hole. The programming, I always talk about the programming. The programming isn't designed to make you want to know. It's designed to make, as soon as I come in the room, they call me ignorant. Oh, here come this super woke person. This is how we say about people that have intelligence. Oh, they so woke till they sleep. Oh, they so woke. So if I'm so woke, what are you? So sleep. Because if you and the thing was that I would not answer because I've learned it's called growth, where you go back and forth with a person in comment sections and they still don't leave with a change of mind. You don't leave with a change of mind. So ultimately, you're giving away emotion and energy for hours. That's why I won't respond. And all I kept saying, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. Flat out. I'm not going to play this game with you guys. I'm not going to play no game. Because if I told you to read the ISIS papers, you wouldn't. If I told you to study Neely Fuller, you wouldn't. If I tell you one more time about reading Hooded Americanism, it's not a popular channel. Because I'm not gimmicky. I'm not out here talking about a whole bunch of foolishness. No, it's always itching when I'm not always on here giving my opinion just on what I feel. We always talk about what we feel. We say freedom of speech. We say all of these things until it comes to something that you're not allowed to have freedom of speech on. It's America, and you got a right until they mandate something, and then you no longer have a right. They told to come up with a vaccine, tell you to take it, get millions of, and then I asked the question. I said, how come Kyrie wasn't treated the way Aaron Rodgers was? Remember, Aaron Rodgers flat out lied about having it. But just like when I read about that Virginia governor that was in that racist photo, Aaron Rodgers answered it just like a white man. He said, "Hey, I researched what was in that Fauci, and I'm allergic to a lot of those things." And I'm paraphrasing on this part, and I ain't gonna talk about it no more. And nobody said nothing else. We don't question because it don't hit them memory banks for you to question because they're not going to put it in the airwaves for them to continuously talk about Aaron Rodgers, but they'll do it for Kyrie. They're going to constantly put it in the airwaves that Kyrie cost the Nets his championship because he didn't take the vaccine. So let's just say this is a way of population control. Look at how many of us we can control just through sports. Sports analysts talking about serious views when they get paid to talk about opinions of people dribbling basketball, throwing football, hitting a baseball. Nothing serious. So it's always funny to hear these things. And I'm not gonna be long on this one. I'm gonna wrap this one up pretty soon. I'm gonna come back with another one, something that I really want to talk about. But I just found this goofy. And in the future, I'm gonna continue to go back and forth with people that just got opinions. I got books, I got well thought out study, I got personal resources, and I'm talking to somebody that haven't read a book, ain't no telling how long, a book of substance. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just, and as the great Malcolm X, none of Malcolm X would say, if you argue with a fool, it's hard to tell who's the fool. So I just wanted to say that. I leave you how I greeted you in the words of a BB for Hodier, African liberation for African people. Peace.